I think a lot of the Somali people with the idea that we are not like you and you're different from us and we're different from you, I think they have this narrow-minded view of what it means to be black, what a black person looks like. They're going off of stereotypes. Yes, guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another interesting video. If you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Reno. You're most welcome to my channel. To my returning viewers and subscribers, thank you very much. I love you lot. Now, today, I want to talk about anti-blackness within the Somali community. I'm a bit late to this topic discussion because I like to see things play out before I give my opinion on it. I don't just like to necessarily jump on trends or hot topics, you know what I mean? But what sparked this whole debate was President Trump's comments that he made in regards to the Somali community in the state of Minneapolis, in the state of Minnesota, Minneapolis to be precise. Now, I'm gonna show you some clips and some videos about what people have been saying on TikTok and the various other social media sites, and then I'll be back with my commentary.
We are Somalis, not black. There, I said it. All right, everyone is keep asking, why don't Somalis want to identify as black? It's simple. The term black was never a word to begin with. Yeah. The term black, it didn't come from Africa. It came from America. Hello, right? It was designed to separate slaves from Europeans. It was not designed to celebrate identity. It was to control it. Yeah. So when Somalis came to the West, we didn't suddenly become black. We were labeled.
I don't care who said first, but we are not black. We are Somalis, we are not black. I don't know how to explain you guys this. This is like 5 years we are fighting about this topic. Let's change it. Come on, guys. We are not black. Me and all of my countrymen, we are not black. Come on, guys. Accept the pain. Shh.
Are Somalis considered black? I'm sorry to be the one that sparks this debate, but it has to be done. I used to be of the opinion back in the day that, of course we're black. Somalis, look at our skin tone. But as the years went on, my opinion started to change. If you're asking, are Somali's skin tone black? Then of course, yes, our skin tone is. But then I realized as the years went on, it's nothing to do with skin tone, because even people who are considered black come in different shades of black. I started to realize that when people ask whether Somalis are black, it's a reference to, are Somalis the same as other fellow African countries such as Nigeria, Ghana, and the countries within West Africa. And then I thought, no, we're not the same as those people. Yes, we're all from Africa, but a Moroccan isn't the same as a Nigerian, and a Nigerian isn't the same as a Somali. A Moroccan isn't considered black, a Nigerian is considered black, and a Somali, for some reason, it sparks a big debate. You got Somalis who say, we're not black, we didn't go through a slave trade. I don't think going through a slave trade is what makes you considered black first. And at the same time, why are we listening to Western societies who categorize people based on their skin tones? This is a white man, this is a black man, this is whatever, this is an Arab. So my question is, because I still don't have a definitive answer, can Somalis consider themselves black? I mean, don't shoot the messenger, I'm just asking.
My black people, please stop asking me. Stop telling me I'm African. I am not. I am Somali. That is my ethnicity. Africa is a continent. I am from the continent of Africa, but I am Somali ethnically.
Somali people and their obsession with Black History Month. Let's break it down. The people you call black don't consider you as black. How funny is that? I said this before. Black is not a color. Black is the absence of color. Black is not a color. Black is just a shade. Look into the color theory, the color spectrum. The darkest color is violet. You can mix colors, red, green, purple, and get white. You can mix colors and never get black. Because from a scientific standpoint, black is not a color. Black is just a social construct. Do not insult me or my ancestors by calling me black, okay? When the first European came to Somalia, they called us Caucasian, dark Caucasians. My hair is different, nose different, facial structure different, even voice tonality and voice frequency, totally different. When you call Chinese people yellow, they get offended. When you call me black or Black History Month in Somalia, I get offended.
If you really believe that, then baby, you're gonna have a hard time in this world. Good luck.
What do you think about Somalis that say that they're not black?
That is their highest fuck.
So you man are black, yeah?
Yeah, hell yeah. What the fuck? Yo, let me ask you that. Why is there such a big spectrum for white people? Like, they go from Russia to fucking... I don't give a fuck. Spanish people are white.
Bro,
fucking Arabs are white. They're all white, but like... But when it comes to Africans, why can't there be a spectrum? Why can't it be one side to the other side? Black is black, bro. Look at our complexion. How you say we're not black?
I mean, what? Like, it's literally, we're the same.
Bro, we're all see this fucking world. He's like, what? Like, we're all the same, bro.
You're taking a piss out of us.
What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You know what it is too? I understand that some people feel like, because people used to take a piss out of Somalis. When we were growing up, they'd be like, oh, you're not black. That's what they used to say to us. Do you feel like, so there's a lot of people, they'd be like, you know what? We're not black. All right, we're not black. Fuck off.
Do you feel like it's based off like culture though? Because like when people think of black, they think of black culture, like African culture, Jamaican culture.
Bro, Somalis are very homogenous. We're just very into, like, we've never been really...
You know what I don't understand, yeah? I don't understand that people that say Somalis are not black. Yes, you are black. In fact, let the police in America decide if you're black, yeah? Wallah, I clock Somalis, yeah? Us Somalis, we actually have an identity crisis. Because one day we're not black. Like, I'll be chatting to one of my Somali friends, he'll be like, yeah, he's black. Then I'll look at my other friend, he'll be like, no, I'm not black. Nigga, why are you then? Don't say the N-word. Don't even say it. And do you know what clocked as well, yeah? It's the darkest Somalis that say they're not black. It'll be the dark ones. It'll be the dark ones. No, I'm not black, bro. I'm not black. You know what, yeah? Who cares? Who cares if you're black or not? Wallah, who cares? Every black people use Vaseline. So why do Somalis use Vaseline? I don't see any Caucasian person using Vaseline in their face. So when you're writing your ethnicity on a job application, for example, it says black British, black Somali. The first word is black. So you guys are black. Please stop it, guys. I'm done with this. We are black.
We're not black, we're not Arab, we're Somali. Let me start off by why we're not black. This is black, this is brown, and there's not a single person in the world that's this skin color. Do your research. Black is the absence of color. It's what you get when there's no color. It's what you get when you turn off the light. You get black. And yes, I know there's going to be those people that say Somalis or East Africans are in that racial construct, that racial typology, that racial classification. But no. Who made this thing? Who made this racial classification? It was the Europeans. The white man made it. And if a white man told me I'm a prick, doesn't mean I have to go by it. In my opinion, there's not a single person on this world, whether you're West African, East African, North African, South African, or even in the Caribbean, that's black. We are not this color. We are just different shades of brown. And I believe some people, like East Africans, don't accept what the colonial people told them they are. And other people obviously accept it and they don't care what a colonial or the people that enslaved them calls them. So right now, you're telling me if they called you back then, if they called you you're a prick or you're an idiot, you'll just accept it right now and you say, yeah, us Africans are idiots, we're pricks. Is that what you're telling me? Do the Asians call themselves yellow or red? I wonder. Now for the reason why we're not Arab, yes, we may be in the Arab League, that doesn't make us Arab. We just did that for political time. Somali people came before the Arabs. The East African people came before the Arabs. We are Cushitic people. We are Cushitic speaking people. And the Cushitic language and the Cushitic people came before the Arabs. So you can't tell me we're Arab if we came before them.
I don't care if I'm the first person to say this, but us Somalis are not black. There's a difference between African and black. Let me ask you a question. Are Moroccans and Egyptians black? Tradition, our history, our culture are so much more different compared to these other countries that are actually black. Joshibil, if you're not black, what are you? I'm Somali. Let me ask you a question. If you were to see a very dark Indian man, would he be identified as a black person or just an Indian?
Bro, come on, bro. You're making me really look bad. Now what the hell wrong with you, man? These children are crazy up in here. Listen, bro. If you have black skin color, you are black. You don't see my face. You don't see your own face. What's going on? Somalis are black. They are both African and black. They are African because Somalia is in Africa. And they are black because we have black skin color. Black is not being black is not a race. It's not an ethnicity. It's a skin color. So if you have black skin color, you are black. I don't care what country you're from. India, Pakistan, Tajikistan. I don't care. It does not matter. If you have black skin color, you are just black.
So you've just seen those clips about what people are saying in regards to this whole debate. I want to start off by saying not all Somali people think alike. Yes, everyone has their own view, everyone has their own opinion, you know what I mean? So I think people shouldn't necessarily, paint the whole Somali community with the same brush because everyone's not alike, I first want to start off by saying I think that me personally, Reno, I believe that Somali people, they are black. Yes, I believe they're black. I believe they're black Africans. I think it's so sad and it's such a shame that some of them just don't know who they are. They just don't appreciate their blackness. They just don't recognize their blackness. They deny their blackness. They reject their blackness. And I think it's very, very sad. I think at this time we should all be coming together, because I'm big on togetherness. I feel like we should all be coming together as an African people. You know, people who descend from the continent of Africa. You know, sub-Saharan Africans, African people. We should be coming together and not be, trying to divide each other and, them versus us. And, you know what I mean? I think it's very, very problematic, and it's such a shame that we can't all come together as Black African people. I think that it is very much a them problem, if you want to say them, us versus them. It's a Somali community problem. It's a them problem. Not all of them now, remember, but some of them, they've got this problem within themselves and their community that they need to sort out in regards to identifying with their blackness. Yes. Now, black is a social construct. Yes. But these same Somali people in the diaspora are in Western countries, right? Where the whole black label came about. You hear a lot of them, they say, oh, it's from the colonizers, from the white man and all this kind of stuff. Well, you're in the white man's country. You're in the colonizer's country. You're in the colonizer's lands, right? And when in Rome, do what the Romans do. So you're in the white man's country. You're in the colonizer's country, yet you don't want to go by the colonizer's terms. I don't get that one. I don't know how that one go. But yeah, so while black is a social construct and, white is and all this kind of stuff, but isn't it funny how you don't see any white people, any white countries, any white populations rejecting their whiteness? You don't see it. You don't see white Portuguese people saying, we're not white. We're not white, we're just Portuguese. Or you don't see any Romanian people saying, you know what? We're not white, we're just Romanian. You don't hear that. You don't see that. They have this understanding that they know, okay, well, white Europeans, that's who we are. We have our own nationality. We're Romanian, we're Polish, we're Spanish, but we are white people. They know this. So why in our community, Somali people feel like they're so different from us, I don't understand. I really don't understand. And it brings me to my next point, yeah? I feel like defining black has to be widened. I think a lot of the Somali people with the idea that we are not like you and you're different from us and we're different from you, I think they have this narrow-minded view of what it means to be black, what a black person looks like. They're going off of stereotypes. Yes, I feel like they're going off of stereotypes that, black people look a certain kind of way. A lot of the time, you'll see in the videos that I played, they refer to West Africans. They refer to Nigerians a lot. But even if you see within the West African community, even if you see within the Nigerian community, they all don't look alike. Some of them have more pointy noses, some of them have wider noses, some of them have thinner lips, some of them have bigger lips. Some of them are darker skin, some of them are more lighter skin. You know what I mean? And I'm sure even it varies in terms of hair textures as well. So everyone does not look alike. They're going off a stereotype of how they expect or feel a black person should look like. And it's not that way, And then even them saying that they're culturally different. Okay, forget about phenotypes and, and presentation or like your appearance. Forget about that for a second right now. Let's talk about culturally. They say that they're different in terms of their culture. They speak the Arab language, which I'm confused about that because I thought they speak Somali, not Arabic, but okay. They speak the Arabic language. They're part of the Arab League. They have Arab customs or whatever, right? But even if you look within the black community itself, so that's one of the that's why they say that they're different, because they're culturally different to the rest of, right? Cool. Even if you see within the black community, the African black community is different from the black Caribbean community. And the black Caribbean community is different from the black American community. We are all, we're alike in certain ways. We're more alike than we are different, but we all share differences culturally. We have different languages. We have different foods. We have different, cultures. We're different, even within the black community, even between each nation, there's differences, there's cultural differences. So again, trying to say that they're not black because they're culturally different from other black countries or the black community, like we're all this one big community, like we're like a monolith, as they say, it's wrong. It doesn't make sense. Do you know what I mean? It just does not make sense, because we're all different. We look different. We speak different. We speak different languages. We all have different cultures, but we still at the same time have this understanding that we are all one black people, one black community. You know what I mean? Even in our differences. But to them, they're so different from us. They're this special community that's so different from us that they're not black. I don't understand that. I really don't understand it. And then also in regards to defining black, now you will hear some of them say, you know what, black is a color. It's a color. Like, this is black. We are brown, right? Now, they'll also cite, or they'll also say that, they'll cite black dark-skinned Asian people, and they'll say, okay, because they're dark-skinned, they might be considered black as well. Just because an Asian person is dark-skinned, that does not mean they are culturally black. They're still culturally Asian. It's just they're of a darker skin tone. You know what I mean? That's not really rocket science. You know what I mean? So that's an incorrect argument. You know what I mean? But I do think the term black needs to be widened in the sense of, you have Aboriginal people in Australia, you have Pacific Islanders, you have people from Papua New Guinea. They look black. They look black. They look like Africans. With different various hair textures and types, but they look black. And I think they are black, but they're not obviously they're not black Africans, because they have existed in Australia or in Papua New Guinea or in the Pacific Islands for thousands and thousands of years, so they are a type of black, so that's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like the term black needs to be widened, or people's perception of what it means to be black needs to be widened, and not just only focused on the black African community, or people descending from, sort of, the Bantu African blacks. You know what I mean? A lot of the people, I don't know if you've noticed, a lot of the people who make these videos, they are dark skinned and they look black. They look black. So it's to me, it's a thing of like, you're denying that you're black, you're rejecting your blackness, but you look black. They do twists, they do, they braid their hair, they look like us, like they, dress like us, they listen to rap music and stuff. So they take on the black culture, you know what I mean? But then they reject it at the same time. So there's this weird paradox, this weird contradiction that's going on, you know what I mean, within some of them in the black, within the Somali community rather. And I feel like it's just a lot of confusion. It's such a shame, as I said earlier on. It's so sad that some of them are just really confused. They're so confused. And then also coming to America and then talking badly or treating the black Americans badly. This is so crazy to me, because it's because of the black Americans. They are the reason why you have and can enjoy all the liberties and the freedoms and the privileges of being a melanated dark, an African people in America. It's because of the Black American struggles, their freedom fighting, their, you know what I mean, all that they went through for generations, which is why you can enjoy what you can enjoy now in America. So I think it's very sad that they don't realize that, and they, you know, talk negatively of the Black Americans and don't stand in solidarity with Black Americans. Talk down on them, you know, call them Jarir, which from my understanding means like hard hair or whatever, just derogatory names. And, you know what I mean? It's just I think it's just really, really bad that that's how they are treating their fellow Black people. That's how I feel. And I think what they're really doing is they're, you know, kind of shooting themselves in the foot, you know, because when anything, God forbid, but if anything goes down with ICE, you know, in America, or, you know, with anything where they need that support, the Black Americans won't support them now, because you've rejected the Black Americans. In fact, you rejected Black people, because it's not only just in America. This relates to the Somali community worldwide. Like in Somalis in the Somali diaspora, even where I am in the UK, you have people, you can see the clips. They're British people, British Somalians, and they say that they're not Black, you know? So you can't expect Black people to now support you in terms of, in your cause, you know, in your cause, in your struggles, in your situations, you know, you can't expect that support from the Black community if you're going to reject them, you know? But it's like these people, some of them, they need to look in the mirror and really like say, hello, like look at yourself in the mirror, you're a Black person. But yeah, I don't understand why they really do that. I don't know, you know, some people are saying that, you know, some of the Somalis are saying that is, you know, jealousy from, you know, the Black Americans, but some Black Americans, they're doing very well as well. This is, you know, they live in mansions, they, you know, have cars, they're millionaires. Like, look at all the musicians and the sportsmen, you know, this, you know, so some Black Americans are doing well. Not all of them are, you know, maybe, you know, poor, or, you know, living in, you know, underprivileged environments and stuff like that. So again, it's stereotypes. I mean, I don't know about the fraud case and all that's going on in Minneapolis or Minnesota, state of Minnesota. I don't really know what's going on there. I haven't really got into that, but I'm also talking about, as I said, anti-Blackness within the Somali community. Now, another thing that strikes me when you look at Somalia, right? When you look at Africa as a whole, there's two prevailing ideas that's in Africa right now, or two prevailing, how can I say, two prevailing influences. You have, or two prevailing supremacies. On the one hand, in Africa, you have white supremacy, where people are bleaching, they are wearing long hair, you know, to look white, and it's about being closer to white. The more white, you know, beauty standards in certain parts of Africa, the more white you look, the better. And that's why you see people bleaching and wearing long hair and stuff like that. And obviously, it's not always, like, in terms of wearing wigs and stuff like that, it's not only because of the look, but also practicality. I understand that aspect of as well, you know, wearing a wig, you know, it's less time consuming, and it's, you know, so I understand that aspect. But it is about, a lot of it, the beauty standards in Africa, on the one hand, is about your proximity to whiteness. Yeah. And then on the other side, in places like Somalia, and maybe in other Muslim African countries, maybe in like Zanzibar, maybe in Tanzania, but I know definitely for Somalia, they have this Arab supremacy. Yeah. They have this Arab supremacy, and you know, where their proximity to Arabness is considered more beautiful. It's considered more better. It's more attractive. It's more, you know, it's more positively received by people in that community, in that part of Africa, you know? And it makes sense in the sense of when you look at Islam, because obviously, you know, majority of Somali people are Muslim. And obviously Islam is centered around Arabia, is centered around Arabs, is centered around Arabic, you know? So it's all centered around that. So the more you can be Arab, the more you can be more, you know, Arabian looking or acting, or, you know what I mean, the better. And the more closer you are to even being more, you know what I mean, just more closer to the religion and everything. Because remember, in Islam, you have to speak a lot of their recitations and learning the Quran and all that. It's in Arabic. It's not in the native tongues of the peoples, you know, the peoples where the Islam is being practiced in, you know. So it's all about Arab. And so they have this idea that the more Arab you are, the more better you are. You know, they have that notion. And again, this is all part of like I feel like there's a lot of indoctrination, a lot of brainwashing, a lot of, you know, mental conditioning that is going on in Africa. And in regards to the Somali community, a lot of Arab brainwashing. Yes, a lot of Arab brainwashing, down to, as one of the videos, one of the persons in the video said, you know, they speak Arabic, they have Arab culture, Arab norms, Arab, you know, Arab this, Arab that, Arab this, you know, they dress in Arab clothing and everything, you know what I mean? So they reject their blackness and try to take on an Arab identity, which is unfortunate and it's a shame. So I think that, you know, they need to unlearn some of this stuff, and not only just Somalian people, but like other African countries as well, in regards to white supremacy and stuff as well. They need to unlearn all of this kind of brainwashing and indoctrination, and really appreciate their blackness. Yeah, really appreciate their blackness. I also want to say, yeah, you can be African but not African, if that makes sense. For example, white South Africans, they are African, but they're not, in the sense of they've been living there for hundreds of years. There's Asian Africans, they've been living there for generations. There's Arab Africans in North Africa. So they're African, but they're not African in the sense of they're not like ethnically African. They're not culturally African. They're not, you know what I mean? Their descendants, their ancestors are not from Africa. They are from Europe. They are from Asian continent. They are from Middle East, you know, in regards to the North Africans. So they're African, but they're not culturally, ethnically African, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So just want to throw that in there as well. But yeah, I feel like, you know, with this whole conversation, we should not throw shade or hate or be malicious or, you know, be mad at the Somali community. We should not do that. We should not do that. We should pray for them. We should talk to them. We should have love for them and hope that some of them will see the light. Because again, it's not all Somali people that feel this way. It's only some that feel this way. But we should just hope that they'll one day see the light and that they will unlearn a lot of the things that they've been taught and that they've been indoctrinated to believe. You know, this whole looking down on black people and them feeling like they're better than us or whatever. You know what I mean? Let's just stop all this, because we need to come together as an African, sub-Saharan African people, you know? As a black people, we need to come together, because that whole black label, it's not going away. You know, it's here to stay. And so as much as you want to run away from it as a Somali person, it's not going away, it's here to stay. You know, and I think we can take on that label and we can use it in a positive way, you know, instead of, you know, running away, because it's not going away, you know. So yeah, that's basically all about today's video. Please like, comment, let me know what you think. I want to hear what you think, how you feel about the whole situation. So drop a comment down below, like, share this video, and I'll see you on the next video.